All right, so we're just going to keep going with the word problem today. Not so bad once you got the equations, right? So the first key always is to get your two equations. So I've got the length of a rectangle is 3 centimeters less than twice the width. The perimeter of the rectangle is 78 centimeters. We need to find the length of this rectangle. So it's been a few days because of the weather, almost been a whole week. When you are looking at these, what you're looking for is you're going to divide it up to get two equations. You're going to use two different sentences. So our first sentence is going to be our first equation. Our second sentence is going to give us our second equation. So for our first equation, I've got the length of a rectangle is 3 centimeters less than twice the width. All right, so when I'm looking at that, it starts off, it says the length of a rectangle is. How do I write that? The length is. Take that. I'm not going to use Y for right now, though. We'll use L and W to start with, okay? So length of rectangle is, length is L equals, okay? Now, our next little piece, 3 less. If it's 3 less, what's that mean we're doing? We're going to have a minus 3. If it's 3 less, we're subtracting 3. So we're going to have something minus 3. Then it says 3 less than twice the width. How do I show twice the width? Is that? What? What do I write? Yeah, times 2. It's the width times 2. So we got 2W. So I got L equals 2W minus 3. All right, so now we got to get the second equation. Second of the equation says the perimeter of the rectangle is 78. Adding what? How many sides? 4. We're adding all 4 sides. All right, so if we're adding up all the sides, if I've got a rectangle, I got my length, I got my width. What's the top side? Length still. And the left side? Width. Everybody good with that? So if I add them all up, I can do length plus width, right? So that would be one way. How many L's are there on my rectangle? How many W's? That would be another way. Either way is going to look the same if you do it on Desmos or if you go to try to solve it, okay? Either way is okay. Who can tell me what's it equal then? What should that purple equation be equal to? Who can raise their hand and tell me? I don't have an equation yet because I need what it's equal to. Keller, what's my purple equation equal to? Marcos, what's the purple equation equal to? Jaden? Yeah. It's the perimeter. So the perimeter is 78, so either of those would be 78. Okay? Everybody okay with those equations? Now, when we got to be careful with a couple things. One, It's easier to write the equations with L and W, I think, because that tells you length and width. That helps you keep it straight. However, Desmos won't do L's and W's. So you got to use X's and Y's. So I'm going to say L equals Y, W equals X. Remember, from last week, it doesn't matter which one's which, as long as you keep straight which one's which. You'll get the same two numbers, even if you have it different. So who thinks they can tell me what the length is? Corey? 25 is correct. All right, so when you put it into Desmos, you're looking for where they cross. And when you put it into Desmos, you don't need to do all three of those. You just need to do like, that one and one of the purple ones, okay? And in this case, when you put those in, they cross at, 1425, right? Any questions on that one? All right, so let's look at it a little bit different then. All right, so we got a store. Clay bought one sandwich and two sodas for $4.75. Sandwich cost $1 more than a soda. How much did the sandwich cost? So just like before, we're going to have two sentences, two equations. So there's the first sentence. There's my second sentence. Okay? All right. We have a slight problem with this one. What variable would you use for sandwich? S. Thing, we use like the first letter, right? Yeah, so what about soda? Yeah, that's the problem. We can't use S for both. Everybody clear on that? You can't use the same letter for both. What do we have to use for Desmos? X and Y, right? So I'm going to say X is the sandwich, Y is the soda. Everybody okay with that? Could you use like, I don't know, W and P or something like that? Yes. You can use any letters you want, but when you use Desmos, you have to use X and Y. So you might as well use X and Y to start with, right? All right, so now the first equation on problems like this isn't so bad. How many sandwiches? So I'm going to put 1X, because I said X was sandwiches. All right, so now we look at, she bought sodas, right? How many sodas? So who could tell me, how do I write that? Marcos? 2Y. We said sodas were Y, so I'm going to have a 2Y. Now, what should that equal? Who can tell me that? I got one sandwich, two sodas. What should it be equal to? Eric? Yeah, 475. It's going to be our total amount. There's our first equation. Everybody kind of follow how we did that? She bought one sandwich, so we got one. Two sodas, we got 2Y. $4.75, or that's equal to $1.75, right? So we got equal 475. All right, so now we got to get our second. It says a sandwich costs $1 more than a soda. So it starts off, a sandwich costs. Who can tell me how to write that?
1x plus y equals 1x.
Just the x.
Y.
Y equals 1.
Just the part that says a sandwich costs. Who can tell me how to write that? A sandwich costs. X equals. What's our sandwich? What variable? X. We said right here that sandwich is X, right? So when it says a sandwich costs, that's like saying a sandwich is. So we got to have X equals. Everybody clear on that though? Makes sense, right? You just have to be careful with which variable's which. A lot of y'all were trying to say Y equals, right? All right, so now it says $1 more than a soda. So how do I write $1 more than a soda? No. No. Dollar more than a soda. How do I write that?
Oh, 1 plus y, 1x minus y. X equals 1 y. 5x plus 2. 1x equals plus 2.
So a dollar more than a soda. So a dollar more means what are we doing? Adding how many? 1. So we're going to be adding $1 more, right? Y'all, what variable's a soda? So we got X equals Y plus 1. Everybody follow? You're trying to make that way more complicated than it is. So go ahead, put in those two equations into Desmos. We got 1x plus 2y equals 475. We got x equals y plus 1. All right, so it's asking us for the price of a sandwich. Hunter, how much is a sandwich? $2.25 is correct. All right, so where your lines cross, in this case, you would have got $2.25 and you would have got $1.25, right? All right, so if we look, just to kind of check this out, that's our X value, that's the sandwich. If Claire bought one sandwich, that's $2.25, right? $1.25 is for the soda, 2 sodas. So $1.25, $1.25, that's $2.50 for the sodas, right? 2 of them. If I do $2.25 plus $2.50, guess what? That equals $4.75. That's what we're looking for. Everybody see how I kind of check that out? And it should work out that way anytime you have these problems. If you go and plug them in, it should give you what it's equal to, okay? Any questions there?